go.
Okay,
Amazing. Yes.
here we go. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to have my guests here. This is going to be fun. This is going to be action-packed. You guys are going to learn some amazing things tonight. So I'm going to start with my first guest, Adriane. Who do you help and how do you help them?
What up, though, everyone? Kyle, thank you for actually the opportunity. This is awesome. Who do I help? I actually help coaches, entrepreneurs, and creators who want to actually get into AI. So I'm an AI wealth strategist and the AI Cash Story Captain. What up, though, from Detroit, Michigan? But that's who I help.
Awesome. So what's your unique value proposition with AI? What do you do specifically and what's your niche? What's your favorite niche?
Well, you know what? Honestly, my favorite niche is creators. And honestly, AI tells a story. So just having the opportunity to build with AI, having apps, having just the lack of financial education is the niche that I focus in on. So financial literacy. So just improving that and leveraging it, what we already know with AI, that's how we go forward.
Awesome. Love it. All right, Gregory, who do you help and how do you help them?
Man, I didn't realize I was next. Kyle, thank you again for having me back. I was on a previous roundtable and I'm just grateful to be here. Who I help is, well, first of all, sorry guys. I'm Gregory Rutledge. I'm author of From Waiter to Greater, and I help high performing neurodivergent adults to restore spiritual safety so that they can regain their momentum and increase their income without having to force themselves or burn out, which is the tagline on Facebook is I help leaders build a life they don't have to escape from. And how I do that,
I
sorry,
like that.
that
Yeah.
was it. That's it.
Awesome, man. That's powerful stuff. And I think a lot of people resonate with that because we end up dreading our own creation. We're like, man,
Absolutely.
now we're just stuck and it feels like another job. It feels like another chore and we fall out of love with what we do. So I like that. So thanks for bringing that to the marketplace. All right, Kimberly, who do you help and how do you help them?
Hi all, I'm Kimberly Clark. I help experts and people who have been there and done that and like messed up a few times and learned it the hard way. Monetize their expertise. So how do I help them? It depends on where you are at. If you are brand new, I help you create a low ticket offer. That is your first introduction to automated income, monetizing your expertise, hands off. If you're already been there, done that, I do courses, programs, webinars, and more importantly, like all the funnels and systems and customer journeys that attach them all so that I really believe I like live my life. So I like to build a business around that. So I'm really love to help other experts and really brilliant people make an impact, make a little bit of an income, and live their life in their own way.
Yes, powerful stuff. And what is it? What's that mean for you? Like the ideal living your life, the way you created it. What's that look like for you and your clients?
So like ideally I live in Florida and I'm an outdoorsy girl. So for me, like ideally in my brain, it's on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock. If one of my girlfriends is like, hey, do you want to go paddleboarding? I can be like, let me put on my suit, the paddleboards in the Jeep, let's go. That's like the ideal life. But I've learned, so I'll be okay, here we go. Last year, my house flooded. So for me, my ideal life is me being able to handle this literal natural disaster from a hurricane without having to stress about work, having things that worked on its own, where like my business was handled better than actually when I wasn't in a natural disaster. So that really changed my perspective of I really leaning into less of the let's make money while we're drinking margaritas and more into the do you like to go actually cheer on your kid at their soccer game? Let's make it so that you have time to do that. Do you like to take a minute and actually sit and read a book for the first time in 5 years? Like, let's make it so that you can do that.
Yeah, so cool. Love that. Thanks for sharing that. Now, Christina, who do you help and how do you help them?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on, Kyle. This is my first roundtable, so I'm excited about it. My name is Christina McGahan. I am a nurse, and I help nurses heal and recover from burnout and trauma that they've experienced in their career.
So that's powerful. So you're a healer and you help people within their career. And I think that's important because a lot of people they reach a level of success maybe and they built the life that they want, but then they hit this plateau. And a lot of that has to do with past trauma and past beliefs. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And we experience so much in the nursing field that sometimes we don't even realize how deep we are in the burnout and trauma.
Yeah. Absolutely. And how do you think that plays into like imposter syndrome? People being scared to play bigger because they're thinking too small and they're kind of stuck from their old pain.
I think it plays a big part of it. We get stuck and we go into this field excited to help people, and then we fall into this routine, and then all of a sudden we're not happy anymore. We're feeling numb. We're having anxiety. And so then we feel like, oh, maybe we're not in the right field. Maybe we're not doing what we should be doing, and we get that imposter syndrome. So yeah, a lot of this, the work we do goes deeper than just the burnout and trauma from your work environment. It can stem all the way back to your childhood.
Yeah. What you do resonates a lot with me too, because of my clients, I help them build sales teams and help them run systems and step into being a CEO. And a lot of them are scared of that because they had a bad boss, right? And the bad boss has that past trauma and they don't want to become that. So it keeps them a solopreneur, but then that keeps them wearing every hat. So love what you're doing. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Now we have Sean. Sean, who do you help and how do you help them?
Yes, thanks. First of all, Kyle, thank you for this. I love collaborating. It's great to see everybody, great to meet everybody. So, I empower middle-aged fathers. I help them to trust themselves, set priorities, and build an authentic, guilt-free life. So, in essence, I serve the person I used to be just a few years ago through everything I've done for myself.
Awesome. Love that. Now, how do you do that? What's your unique method?
I coach one-on-one, and then I also built a community for middle-aged men just to support them. I'm a single dad, single parent, and just everything I've learned throughout my life. I know we're going to touch more on to like how we get into all these things, but it's pretty much just doing the one-on-one work with them, but also having that community so they don't feel alone. Especially men just have a hard time opening up, and I just want to give them a safe space to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have some people to go in it with. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
without a
And people
doubt.
to share, people that are peers that can relate to you. So thank you for creating that space. All right, next we have the soul shifter. Sorry, what can you introduce yourself? Tell us who
Yes.
you are and who you help.
My name's Nikki, and I'm better known as the Soul Shifter. And I really help the people, right? I really help people moving from survival mode to thriving mode. And I think I try to meet people wherever they're at. So a lot of the other guests, they talked about kind of a niche that they work in. And I think I kind of cover a lot of those things because I think my ultimate goal is to really bring in systematic changes. So that's I really help people return back to themselves and work through that shadow work, those blockages, that healing work that you had touched on a little bit in the beginning with some previous guests.
Yeah, awesome. So when you say shadow work, how do you mean? Because when I hear shadow work, I think of integrating the parts of us that are broken or the parts of us that are flawed or not optimal, right? And integrating them and making them better. But I think as some people are scared of that term, especially for some of my
Yes.
like more Christian followers. So how do you bridge that gap?
That's exactly how I explain it to people. I think a lot of people that have been through hard times and kind of had hit rock bottom, a lot of times they feel like they have to fix themselves and there's something wrong with them. But I really help people see that integration and really how our present life is always kind of like mirroring back to us what we need to see in order to remove those blocks. So with shadow work, it's like all those things, that messy stuff, the beliefs, the wounds, the past trauma that we hold on to that really blocks us from all the things that we truly want, truly desire. So helping people with the how is what I love to do.
Nice. Love that. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. And we got Coach Frank. Coach Frank, I can't see you on camera, so I'm not sure if you're here. Are you able to unmute and jump on camera?
I'm here.
All right. It's a little bit
Can
choppy.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Frank, who do you help and how do you help them?
I help high school students as well as small businesses in my community and one-on-one coaching for mentorship.
Awesome. Are you able to jump on camera?
I am trying to figure out where that's at because I don't know. I was driving and I tried moving and now it's not allowing me to go back to that feature again.
It's all right. We'll roll with it, and we'll come back to you for the second question,
Sounds
which
good.
is going to be results. So work on the camera, and we'll come back there. All right. So who do I help, and how do I help them? I help coaches, expert speakers, course creators, and agencies scale to $100,000 months, leveraging 100% commission-only salespeople without spending a dime on ads. And everything we do is without paid ads. So, and I'm not against paid ads. I have friends that are crushing it there. I'm going to turn them on pretty soon. But I'm here to tell you that you can easily hit 60 to 100K months without them. You just don't need them. All you got to do is tap into other people's audiences, similar to the stuff that we're doing here, roundtable interviews, one-on-one interviews, doing webinars together, doing summits. Just from one relationship, you can land 6 figures. So that's what I do, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more here in a bit. But I'm going to go back to Adriane. Adriane, what are some results you've gotten for yourself and your clients?
Amazing what you've done thus far as well, because collaboration and you actually connecting me with Ricardo was one of the reasons that we're here today. So thank you for that. But in regards to results, with this AI and being a part of the digital marketing and why financial education is so imperative, my business partner and I, we call ourselves the Tach Extraordinaire. We've been actually really focused and dialed in on helping people and leveraging this AI tool. So in regards to results, our clients over the last few years, honestly diving in regards to taxes, seeing the automation and seeing all of their finances in one consolidated place, nothing but positive feedback, nothing but encouragement in regards to understanding financial education and how money works. And in addition to that, in regards to results, I have to say in regards to talking live, like these collaborations you're doing as well, every single week, Tuesday at 4 p.m., being able to collaborate with different individuals and creators, seeing how AI and apps and automation can actually help them. I've been doing it since May consistently every Tuesday. So business owners are being introduced to the new world of AI. They're seeing new opportunities. They're leveraging the opportunities and amplifying their financial education in those tools. So in regards to results, just me being present and being consistent, helping people see what's possible. I have to say and applaud everyone here in regards to what they do, because all of us together helps us be the results for the next person with AI in your back pocket. So that's kind of how I have to answer that, my friend.
Heck yeah, powerful stuff. Thanks so much for sharing. All right,
Yes,
Gregory, what are some results you've gotten for yourself and your clients?
Man, I create safe containers for people to just remember that who they are is enough. Like, we're inundated and bombarded with so much information and so much stuff that can make us feel like less than or we're not enough. And I just remind people to leverage their background, use their story, get grounded in who you are so that you can move from a place of peace. And some of the results is just like people could be stuck for 7 years and I'll get them unstuck in an hour. And it's just, that's the thing that lights me up is, and it almost blows my mind every time because it's like, you shouldn't be hiring me or you shouldn't be working with me. But for some reason you were attracted to me and we had a conversation and I helped you to see something that I thought surely you should be able to see this. One of my most successful clients, I charged her like, I don't know, it's minimal, like $2,500. Promised her $25,000, like a 10x return. I messed up, Kyle. I got this woman $50,000 in a month instead of $24,000, and it was just one unlock. Before she came to me, she thought she needed a speaker reel to start speaking in churches, and she thought she needed all these other things. And I just told her to trust herself, try something new, raise your prices. You've got the results, you've got the receipts. She said that one shift was all she needed, and it just unlocked a whole world for her. She's touring. She was in Alaska. She spoke at different churches.
Wow.
And it's amazing what a simple reframe can do. You don't need a bunch of courses and 12 modules and 16 weeks or whatever, right?
Yeah, you just need simplicity. You need a simple plan that you stick with. Yeah, man, that's powerful, and that's what lights me up too is those results. When you come out and you're like, "Look, I have a goal. This is what I'm going to get you to," and then you blow that out of the water. That's beautiful, man. Thanks for sharing. All right, Kimberly, what are some results you've gotten for yourself and your clients?
Myself is I built enough automated programs and income coming in where I love going to work every day. I make really good money. It's sustainable. I have that, what is that, like that weird thing? Like I'm comfortable. Because like we're talking about money, like I'm comfortable with money, like really comfortable with money. I think that's a win. For myself,
Yeah.
like I've done some really epic days and things, but I think like the ability to say yes and have flexibility is like 10 times more powerful. But I have two of my favorite wins is I last time I was on Money's Run Town, but I saw the same one of the stories is one of my clients was doing webinars for the first time. And this year was the first year they did webinars technically. And they've had five where they sold out and did six figures on a webinar this year. And that same
Let's go.
client who came to me running ads to do his sales calls to a team to a high ticket program, which was working really well. Now we built them a low ticket offer funnel my way. And it is there. It is it's converting 5 times greater than any other funnels for lifetime value. So I was like, it works. I made them, they were
What?
not a
That's awesome.
believer. They were terrified of selling low ticket. They were like, anything under 3K is just not for me. And I was like, let me show you what else we can do. So that's my big win for them. And then I like little wins too, because I believe in like celebrating the little pieces. So I had a student client, whatever you want to call them, go through like one of my tiniest offers. It was like a $50 offer. Wanted to make their first digital product, no experience. They had a decent audience, I'll give you all that, but they had no experience, never taught before, never built anything before. And they had a 30-day deadline because they were pregnant. And they got it out, launched it the first 2 days. They made $2,500. And she looked at me and she was like, I should have charged more. And I was like, yeah, you should have, but you'll learn that as you go. It's start where you're at. So yeah, and she
Yep.
got to get it launched before she had her baby. So that's pretty freaking powerful.
Yes, that's so exciting. Love that. And if people say webinars are dead, they are not dead.
No.
So yes, thanks for sharing. All right, next we've got Christina. What are some results you've gotten for yourself and your clients?
So really it's the same thing for both. I've learned myself and then I'm teaching. Mindset shifts, changing your neuroplasticity in your brain, learning what your triggers are and being able to stop your triggers before they spiral. So those are some of the main things that I've learned and now I'm teaching to my clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's your favorite like type of result for you? What's the big promise that you give when you're bringing clients in?
Um, I love the neuroplasticity of your brain. I love how you can rewire your brain. It's all a mindset shift. It's all how you talk to yourself. You're your worst critic. So you learn how to talk to yourself. You learn how to reset your tone, and then your brain can rewire itself. That's just a little piece of it, because
That's
we do
big.
dive
Yeah.
pretty deep into
Yeah,
it.
that's super
Yeah,
big. And when you think about it, it's like we're programmable. We can program ourselves. We don't have to be dependent on our previous programming. Our
right.
previous programming does not have to determine our programming moving forward. So that's cool stuff. Thanks for sharing. We're going to go a little bit deeper in that here in a minute. All right, Sean, what are some results that you get for yourself and your clients?
Yeah, first of all, I can resonate with everyone who's talking here so far. This is really beautiful. Um, I think the main thing is just trying to be authentic at the end of the day. And authenticity can mean a lot of things to different people. But if you're being authentic, you're being real with yourself. You're portraying who you really are to the world without worrying about judgment and all these other factors that kind of come into play. So it's really about going inward and not looking outward. I was very much a people pleaser and all these other things. So it's more or less going inward, telling the truth to yourself, figuring out what those truths are, and seeing the picture like holistically and really sitting with it, sitting with it instead of getting so much from the outside world. Just kind of really getting back to yourself, going inward, and just really holding this space. Gregory said it beautifully too, having this container for them, knowing that they're going to be heard. And I think that's one of the biggest things that this world's missing right now is people want to be heard and no one's listening.
Yeah, good stuff. And understanding your identity. Who are you? And when you say
Oh,
I am, what does that mean to you? And then that's going to determine everything.
yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. All right, Nikki, what are some results that you get for yourself and your clients?
I think my biggest um, win was my name. One of my clients, when I first started doing this work, I was doing like Reiki and different types of energy work. And one of my clients said to me, she's like, you know, you're like a soul shifter, right? And I'm like, wow, like, okay, I really am kind of doing that. And so I feel like that was kind of the moment that I realized that I was making a change and people were definitely having results from, you know, working with me one-on-one and doing different healings. And I think for myself, having a teaching background, I really um, develop this kind of philosophy where it's like I do, you do, we do. I'm sorry, I do, we do, you do. So I do a lot of work and on myself, and then when I see things like shifting and the teacher in me puts things out, and then I really try to give people like resources and tools and workshops and different things that they can do in order to kind of have like the homework to take them to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Love that. All right. So we got Coach Frank. What are some results that you get for yourself and your clients?
So for myself, I mean, I'm truly happy no matter what. I mean, at the end of the day, if my clients feel success, then I'm going to feel successful. At the end of the day, if my students feel successful, then I'm going to feel successful. And out of the 30 students, I only have 2 that are not successful, but they don't want to be. And that, again, I can't force anybody to be. It's just like any business. So nonetheless, that's how I get my success. And I love it. I mean, when I get out of the gym and I'm feeling successful, when I, hit the road running after, 5 o'clock, I'm feeling successful. So I get a lot of success from a lot of different areas. And I am thankful for every single one of those areas. As far as my clients go, I know they're successful and I get results when they tell me that they're doing well. When I ask certain questions and they're able to answer those questions with confidence, with this full transparency that they are doing what they need to do. And then they are, of course, telling me the areas that they're not doing well. I mean, that's ultimately a great area for me to improve and also to help them.
Awesome. Love that, man. All right. So results that I've gotten for myself and my clients, I've been up on stage with Russell Brunson and other big names like Myron Golden, Brian Delaney. I got my 2 Comma Club award, did 2.5 million in 3 years in order to achieve that award. And I've helped countless others hit $100,000 months. In fact, one of my favorite stories is from this guy. His name's Brandon Lee. Now, Brandon Lee's from Venezuela. And that's such a dangerous place. There's so much violence. There's hyperinflation. It's hard to even put food on the table over there. And people have wheelbarrows of cash because of the inflation. And he wanted a better life, and he realized that coming to the U.S. that's really what he's going to be able to provide his family with safety, is just to get to the U.S. And he made it happen. He was able to immigrate, and then as soon as he got here, he hit another wall. He's like, man, I'm away from the violence, but it's still hard to put food on the table. Groceries are expensive. It's hard to get a good job as an immigrant. And he knew that if he wanted the American dream, that he had to go into business for himself. So he took courses and he got his YouTube education, and he went an entire year giving it all he's got. And after the end of this year, he's like, man, I haven't got a single sale. And he comes up to me. He's like, Kyle, I'm about ready to throw in the towel, man. I've tried everything. Could you imagine going a whole year giving all of your heart and not getting one single sale? And that's where he was. And he had to go borrow the money to get into my program because he knew that he needed traffic, he needed collaboration, and he needed a team. So he borrowed the money, he got resourceful, came into my program. And within 3 weeks of him joining, he hit 6 figures cash collected. That's not projected revenue. That's cash collected within 3 weeks, just from a couple strategic relationships. And then after that, he was able to build his team, and it was all hands off after that. So that's what lights me up in this industry, is watching people go from struggle to freedom. I travel the world full time. You guys are about to see it get darker and darker in here. I've got a light. It's kind of dim, but as it gets darker outside, it'll get darker in here. But my wife and 2 kids have traveled all over the U.S. with me. And for the last 3 years, we've been in a Class A motorhome, towing a Jeep Rubicon behind it, hitting off-road trails, seeing all these beautiful locations. And we're heading back to Europe here in about a month and a half for the second time. And we're going to spend a whole year there. We're going to be in Italy, Prague, Montenegro, Portugal, France, all these beautiful locations. And we're able to live this remote lifestyle because of what we've been able to accomplish, because we have a remote team. And I've helped countless other people achieve the same. They're like, I want to go RVing, or I want to go travel the world. And they've made it happen through my techniques. And we'll go into those here a little bit deeper in a moment. But Adriane, so we're going to wrap two questions together for time's sake. But what is your story, and what's the nugget that you want to wrap in that story, the takeaway?
Well, before I do that, Kyle, your story is amazing. Congratulations on helping so many different ways. But seriously, every single story here is culminates to where we are right now. And so my story is a loaded question. I rose and failed and rose and failed. That's not the story of any entrepreneur, but I can be honest and say the best time of my life was when I managed my cousin who played professional basketball for the Toronto Raptors. Oh my gosh, that's why I'm on this billionaire journey, day 590 of the billionaire journey. But seriously, what that taught me was what money really works. Money is a tool. So in seeing that story, making six figures, failing to, and I'm in my sobriety journey and being open and honest in regards to 25 months of sobriety, being honest with that and knowing that anything is possible. When you get this mindset right, that's why Christina, what you're doing is so amazing, as well as the soul shifter. That's why I keep doing that because your mindset can really tell you that anything is possible. So with 25 months of sobriety, having the consistency of being able to go live, show people what's possible, fail forward. But now with AI leveraging that opportunity, my saying is I can, I will, I am victorious, let's go. Because if anything stops me, it's only you versus you. I'm going to stop myself. So having all the skill sets, I mean, failing as a mortgage broker, having a credit repair company, have 5, 6 companies, having 16 years owning my own foundation. All of these things, Kyle, really culminates to who I am, which means I don't stop. I'm resilient. So if I show people what's possible in regards to the tools I do, this AI and apps, that's what the legacy plan with the AI Legacy Blueprint Master Calculator, the AI tool that we built, just having this and showing people with financial education, taking a risk on yourself, and then going live, showing people their authentic story. It literally just makes me laugh. You know, people going on Amazon, becoming bestsellers, just coming live on the podcast, just getting up and showing your authenticity. That's what life is about. So, you know, some people say results is about dollars in your bank account. No, results is what you do. Show up 24 hours each day and be the best version of yourself and show people what's possible. So I lead with faith and consistency and showing people what I am. So that's my story. I keep it simple, financial education, billionaire in the making, just getting around the right rooms, collaborating with people that want change and helping people reach their goals, which makes me happy as well. So that's me.
Powerful. Powerful stuff. Thanks so much. All right, Gregory, what is your story, and what's the nugget that you want to wrap in the story?
Man, why you got to make me follow Adriane? That energy, though. My story, grew up fatherless, directionless. As a result, I was really afraid, ashamed, and, you know, just kind of wandered throughout the life trying to figure things out. And as a result, led to drugs, 10 years of addiction. I'm on my sobriety journey as well, 20 years in. And I waited tables for 15 years. And everything I got from waiting tables was that service is at the core of everything. Like when you show up and serve people from a place of empathy, curiosity, and like genuine care and concern for the people you're serving, the money just appears. And I learned that early on in serving. Took a job as a barista in a tech company. Tried not to get noticed because the attention I pull in, it always backfired on me. So my mom was like, just keep your head down, work hard, don't talk to anyone. Totally backfired. I created an environment at this bar inside of this tech company that brought so much attention that they hired me, doubled my income, taught me about tech. And in a matter of 2 years, I went from $30,000 a year as a barista to $250,000 a year without a degree in that career. And I hit a brick wall with that. I got bored and met Myron Golden back in 21, 22. Joined his offer, King Solomon's Court, the $55,000 a year one, and
oh man, I'm jealous.
Man, it was the most amazing experience, Kyle. And I didn't even know you met him. I thought you were just in Russell Brunson's. Congratulations on the 2 Comma Club. But I wrote a book about this whole thing because I got tired of telling people the story. And the nugget I have for y'all is, like, I was afraid of everything and didn't even realize it until I read a quote that said, "Do one thing every day that scares you" by Eleanor Roosevelt. And what that turned into for me by doing one thing, just one, every day that scared me, I did that for like 4 or 5 years and early on in recovery. And it turned into, if anything scares you, face it head on so that nothing stands in your way. And I believe Ryan Holiday wrote a book called The Obstacle is the Way. Same thing.
Yes.
Whatever is standing in front of you that is keeping you from moving, face that thing.
So good. Powerful, powerful words. Thanks for that. All right, Kimberly, what is your story and what's the nugget that you want to wrap in that story?
I'm literally obsessed. Like every single person in this round table. I just want to hear more from everybody. So this is great. I'll try to keep my story unburned. So I grew up like ridiculously poor. Like dad had an alcohol problem, mom had a drug problem, and like I knew I was like really smart, but we like lived in like 100-and-some-year-old house that your great-great-grandfather built, and like weren't really taught that there was much beyond like this little microcosm bubble. And I didn't even know that internet marketing or digital marketing existed because I'm 40, so like back then it didn't. Like not really. So but I remember like I was in second grade and my mom's drug dealer had just gotten arrested, and I didn't know what that meant. I immediately thought that meant that mom was gonna go to jail, right? So I was like, I'm never gonna live my life like this. I'm never gonna be defined by this. I'm never gonna let this like be who I am. And I don't think I've ever stopped growing since. And it took me a long time to tell that part of my story because I didn't want it to define me. But yeah, that was like the driving force of like, I know what it's like to come from like things that are suck. And I don't want that to ever have to define me or be my life. So went through all the things, did a million things, tried a million things, and kind of literally fell into internet marketing. I fell into internet marketing over a decade ago by getting hired for a project by like a really, really big 8-figure marketer at the time, one of the big ones. I can't say who, NDA, but it was a big one. And then just went from like, I'm doing a project to like, do you want to be the team, to like, hey, do you want to run everything, to like, hey, why don't you run ops? Why don't you just take over the whole business and be like my second hand? And that happened very quickly because again, I devour everything that I can and love what Gregory said about like, I'm obsessed with fear. Like if something scares me, like I want to jump into like the first, like let's go. This is exactly where I need to be. So yeah, and then I was like, got to see a lot of amazing pieces of the industry. Got to literally, I probably all heard the stories, right? Everybody that's listening to this is probably like, yeah, so and so went from this to this, like blah blah blah. Like I was there, and then literally got to see the paychecks and see like the credit card statements, the business card account statements that were like more than I made in a year. I'm like, okay, all right, they're paying that monthly for their credit card, for their business expenses, and it's not even like touching anything. This is what I want my life to be. And then like I was a behind the scenes girl. Like I had anxiety back then. I was not in front of the camera person. I don't make that face at me. I was behind the scenes. I was the nerd. I like numbers. I like tech. I like data, and that is where I want to be. The smart one in the back. And then I realized that there is more that I want to do. Like so many people are doing so much, and I know what I have to offer, and I want to make something bigger. I want to make a bigger life for myself, but I want to impact. And I love the internet marketing industry, but I also kind of hate it because it's also kind of skeezy sometimes. And I was like, well, how can I fix this? I can start to put out things that tell the real story about internet marketing and help people create really amazing, life-changing products, not just create something in 2 days because they want to make some money. And because I was behind the scenes, so I had to go through all the things that everybody else has to go through, like the imposter syndrome. Why would anybody listen to me? Like I literally am running an 8-figure business, but why would you listen to me? And then I had to get over like talking to people and selling and marketing and being afraid of being on camera. And now I literally just hosted 54 international webinars this year. Like I went from like being terrified and being behind the scenes to like I am literally paid to be the face of another brand. So yeah, I've come full circle, and I feel like my journey just keeps on going. Like when I think that I've hit the point where I'm always happy. I love my life. Like I think that's like one of my biggest things about my life. I freaking love my life. And then I just keep on getting new opportunities. I'm like, okay, that sounds like fun. Let's make a new pivot.
Yes. Yeah, that resonates so much. You have to have fun. Like otherwise, what's the point? Because you can only reach like such a high level until you get bored with it. It's like, oh, what is it? It's just about money now, and then you totally burn out. So it has to be fun. And yes, thanks for sharing that, Kimberly. All right, Christina, what is your story, and what are some results that you want to wrap in that story?
Well, I've been a nurse for 28 years, and I didn't realize that I was experiencing the burnout until everything fell apart at once. And that's when COVID hit, and that's when I was also going through a divorce. So it was my personal life and my work life all just like collided. And, we're most people every day, like they walk by, they're like, "Oh, how you doing?" And you just say, "I'm fine." I couldn't even say that. I could just say, "I'm still breathing." It was too much. And I realized I need to change. I have to get out of here. I have to do something different. Um, the normal type therapies just weren't doing anything for me. Um, so I started looking outside the box for nursing. And I found another nurse who's a mindset coach, and she like opened my eyes, made me really see, oh my gosh, this is where it's coming from. Some things stem back to my childhood, my beliefs, my limiting beliefs, my imposter syndrome, all of that. It was just amazing to go through that transformation. And once I went through that transformation and I felt like I'm healed, I'm recovered, I can help others. So that's my passion, just to be able to help other people in the healthcare field. I focus mainly on nurses because I am a nurse and I've been through it the same way that they are. But
Yes.
it's it it's just life transformation. It's it's hard to put in words.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And
Yeah,
I
I
love
agree
to
so
see
much.
that transformation in other people.
That's it, and that's what makes this so fun, and that what is makes it easy to get passionate about, because it's
Yes.
impact over income. If you care about the impact, the income will flow. But you got to be impact first. So love that. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Sean, what is your story, and what's the nugget that you want to wrap in that story?
So lifelong people pleaser is pretty much my backstory. Um, and digging farther into it, realizing it was more of a survival mechanism for me, especially as a man. So I think I was either like a chameleon, a people pleaser, or I went under the radar, not not being seen. And this went on for decades. I'm in my mid 50s, and just falling into things, looking outside myself for all the answers, just being in jobs that didn't really suit me, or just falling into them, or relationships and not being myself. It's like when you're a people pleaser, you're not authentic. And that's my whole point of it's the total opposite of being authentic. So I finally said to myself, this has got to stop. And I started taking classes and being around people like you and joining groups and communities because my groups didn't have this. I didn't have an outlet to talk like this to other people and really show who I was. Once I found my voice. So I joined like Mastermind with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi.
Yeah.
I'm still in that program. I do a bunch of things, collaborate with a bunch of people. Like I said, I built my community and everything. And what it really came down to was I just had to be by myself. And as corny as it sounds, I needed to learn to love myself because
Mm.
I did. It sounds corny, Gregory. It just when it comes out of my mouth, but I know it's something I think a lot of people struggle with to
Yeah.
actually just be able to say, love that guy in the mirror, and he's going to come first. That's another big thing too. Is selfish. Being selfish is not a selfish act. It's like the best thing you should
Mm.
do for yourself, and
Yeah.
it is the best thing I've ever done for myself. Like I'm going on 2 years just being single with just me and my daughter and putting myself first and everything. And it's made a world of difference just for me being a dad, me being the person I am, um,
Mm.
and just giving me the opportunity to do all these things and not have to worry about somebody else at the moment. Just doing what I want when I want, and just really helping the people that I really want to help. So
Yes.
that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's so special. Thanks for sharing that, Sean. I appreciate you coming out with that and creating that space for us. Sometimes it's so hard to get vulnerable about, some of the obstacles in your story. Some people avoid the obstacles in the story, but what is that book we were talking about earlier? The obstacle is the way. And if you are living this life of inspiration, you got to lean into that and inspire others. So thanks for doing that, Sean. All right, Nikki, what is your story, and what are some nuggets that you want to tie into that story?
So I think my story, my upbringing is pretty similar to Kimberly. She mentioned, just a lot of chaos growing up. And I think that me being the oldest sibling, I think that turned me into not only a people pleaser, but trying to just be the good girl, like always doing the right thing. And I think when COVID hit in 2020, I was going through a toxic divorce, my personal life and my career, everything was kind of at a standstill. And I think I just woke up one day saying like, I deserve more than this, and I shouldn't have to, work this hard to only have this kind of. And so I think it was kind of that pivotal moment that I said, you know what, I'm going to walk away from all of this. And I really connected a lot what Sean said about the people pleasing and, putting other people before yourself. And I think I've been on a long, like, self-love journey and doing the inner work. And I think working with other clients helps me have that perspective or able to see that kind of pattern recognition. And then that teaching background, I love to create like really powerful tools to help people move and shift that energy, or to teach people like, what does self-love really mean? Like, what does that look like? We hear these, terms, self-care, but self-care is a lot more than, like getting your hair done or getting a massage. And so I like to really like get deep with people because I get deep with myself. And so I just try to be, I think I try to heal out loud so that people know that they're not alone. And I feel like whoever connects with me and resonates with me knows that they have a safe place to come to. And then just really trying to give people, those tools to really help people shift and embody, their truest essence, because it's like I did the work for myself and I found the results. So now it's like I have this deep desire to want to help everybody else and like show them the way. And so I've created a monthly community also, and really try to show up as the leader and the healer that I needed through my journey, and show up as her every day.
Yeah, so great, so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So you guys all have amazing stories and such amazing nuggets. All right, Coach Frank, what is your story, and what are some nuggets that you want to wrap in that story?
Well, my story is, like a lot of different orphans, sexually abused orphan, grew up in Riverside, California, placed into foster care at a very young age, found a mentor who helped to shape me, and then in 2012 got connected with Grant Cardone and Eric Thomas, and really surrounded myself around that circle with Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins, and started really listening into what tools I really needed to do to transform my business as well as my brand. And so those were some of the biggest things that I really took away from that. I guess that chapter of my life is being able to just utilize those struggles and turn them into strengths. And then of course, through those struggles, help students as well as small businesses to transform some of those struggles and use some of those metaphors and comparisons with their businesses, their own brands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got an outside area here, Vina.
Here, let me put on mute. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's so good. It's about bringing yourself into the circles where there's inspiration, being around people that are inspired and that you can learn from, finding a mentor, and you found several. So that's wonderful advice. Thanks for that, Coach Frank. All right, so I'm going to go into a super abridged version of my story, and then we're all going to rapid fire tell where to go next or where to follow you more. and we'll all go around that circle and we'll try to wrap up here in the next 10 minutes. But so my story, I've been in direct sales for what, 15 years now. Been a long time. And I started out in door to door, knocking on doors, school of hard knocks, literally. And I worked for DirecTV. I worked for Kirby Vacuums for a time, selling Kirby's, and then went to work with DirecTV, selling satellite TV door to door. And at first I'd get doors slammed in my face, get cussed out. I even had a couple guns pulled on me. And I had a really rough go at first. And I'd see other guys go out there and make $1,000 in a day knocking on doors. And I'm like, I have to learn this skill. How are they doing that? And what I learned by shadowing them is that they weren't selling. They weren't even talking about DirecTV. They're just hanging out. They're just being a neighbor. They'd go up and lean against the doorpost like this, and they were just, I'm going to be here a while, and we're just going to chat and make friends. And I got really good at that. And when I got good at making friends, I'd get invited inside. People would cook me these elaborate meals, pay me $100 tip just for even speaking to them. And because of that skill, I was able to raise through the ranks, and I became number 7 top salesperson in the nation with DirecTV out of thousands of reps. Number 7, I won a plaque, won a cruise, all these cool things. And then I discovered Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson, the whole ClickFunnels world, and just absolutely fell in love with that space. I'm like, I don't want to knock doors forever. I want to go here. So I read Expert Secrets and I decided to burn the ships. I quit my job at DirecTV, went full into the online expert space, and I had a rough go. I treated it like doors at first. I'm like, oh, the Facebook, it's like digital doors. As long as I'm making friends and I'm not pitching, I'll be able to DM people and get sales. And it worked somewhat, but it was a struggle. It was a grind. Eventually, my wife, Madison, decided to become my setter. So she would go and DM people and then book them with me, and I would close them. And we're able to pay our bills just barely, but we got excited. We're like, oh, we can make money from anywhere. As long as we have an internet connection, we can go travel the world. So we sold everything we owned. We fit the rest of what we owned into backpacks and flew across the globe to Europe, where we spent 6 months straight just bouncing across different countries and Airbnbs, but we missed a lot of it. The first part of our travel was a little bit rough because it wasn't quite the laptop lifestyle that you imagine. It was traveling, but looking at a screen the entire time. There was entire cities, beautiful cities that I missed because I was staring at a screen. I was working 80-hour weeks. My wife was doing 40 hours a week, and our daughter Eve, who was 4 at the time, was on her tablet for hours and hours on end, missing her family, missing her parents, missing human connection. And we ended up in the spiral, and I ended up really feeling resentment towards the coaching space and towards the travel lifestyle and all of it. I ended up in this dark place. So did my wife, and we struggled for a bit. But then a light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what? I used to build commission-only teams. They don't cost any money. I don't have to pay them hourly. Why don't I just go find people that can use their own profiles and do outreach for me? I can get my wife out of this. And I did it. And I was able to rescue my wife, Madison, out of that position and get several other setters to go in and start doing outreach. But then I ran into another hurdle, another barrier. I couldn't keep good salespeople. I couldn't keep them on. I had this crazy revolving door. And the reason is because nobody wants to grind like that. It's rough sitting there doing DMs on Facebook. So what I realized, I'm like, I need to give them leverage. Like they need bottom of the funnel leads. They need good stuff. So I gave each one of them a list of influencers and podcast hosts to reach out to. And then one of them texted me one day or messaged me on Facebook. And he's like, hey, I got Joe McCall to agree to doing an interview with you. And I knew that name. I'm like, that can't be the guy. And so I took a double take and I'm like, no, this is the guy. This is the Joe McCall. He's a 2 Comma Club award winner, wrote a book with Russell Brunson, has a massive podcast, and my setter got him to say yes. Here's the nugget. My setter said to him, he's like, hey, we don't have an audience yet, but we have a network and we have some pretty successful people in our network that we think would love your story. Would you be open to doing an interview with us, and we'll send it out to the people we know? Joe McCall said yes to that. You guys would be surprised how many high-level, A-level people will say yes to just being on your show. And we had him on, and as a result of that, he had me on his show. Long story short, after being on his podcast, within 1 month, we got 6 figures cash collected from his audience alone. Everything changed from that. So, and then that setter was able to make $10K commission. And then I've just had my setters leverage other people's audiences and warm leads, bottom of the funnel leads to get instead of cold DMs. And it's insane, guys. It changed everything. So that's how I really made it click with my setter team. And now I help so many people do the same. And my 2 nuggets for you guys is number 1, don't grind yourself. Don't rely on the algorithm. Sometimes it feels like you're playing the lottery. Number 2 is don't, and you might build up a following and then all of a sudden next week it's cut in a third, and you're noticing that your engagement's gone way down. And don't DM yourself. It's, you guys know that DMs work. It's effective. Don't do it yourself. You don't have to. Get other people to do it for you. Pay them commission. It could be anywhere from 7% to 10% commission. Hire a team sooner than later. Also, finding a closer, that's a really big deal. That will save you guys a ton of time. But those are my nuggets. I have a script for you guys. It's my gift. And then we're going to go around the table and everybody's going to either give a gift or tell you where to follow next. But my gift is a collaboration script. How do you land interview swaps? How do you get big names to promote you on their podcast? This is called the Zero Resistance Messenger Script. Comment below, guys. Comment below script, and I will be sure to personally reach out and give it to you. Comment script and I'll get you the script. All right, now we're going to go around the table and get the next step. So, Adriane, where do people go next? How do they get more from you?
Shoot, I'm going to my DM to comment script. Like I want the script too. That's where they go next. No, but to get in contact with me, I also understand collaboration is so key. This is so amazing, Kyle. I have to say real quick, thank you so much for doing this. Okay, hurry up. I know. So you can find me, Adriane Mays, at thetouchextraordinaire.com or cccelevateyou.com/live. I give you those 2, connect, be resilient, and be exactly what Sean said, like what Kyle said, like hire people. Don't do this yourself and don't do this alone because you are in this together. Thank you so much for having me, Kyle. I truly appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, Gregory, where do people go next?
Man, facebook.com/Gregory.Rutledge. I got rid of my website. It's too much upkeep. And I have a group on Facebook called The Greatest Group Ever. It's a fast growing group right now. We have 595 members just engaging and helping each other. And that leads people to the greater university, where I create that spiritually safe container so people can gain that momentum. I was in the middle of building my lead magnet as we were getting on the call. I was like, man, that time just flew away. So I will have a lead magnet and a gift for you. Would love for you to pick up the book From Waiter to Greater. If you're looking to level up, it is the hindsight reflection of what worked for me with that greater framework. It's an acronym I won't share here, but that anyone can level up from where they are with these principles. They work.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for that. Kimberly, where do they go next?
So I have a gift because I love gifts. And I'm really leaning 2026 is like the year, it's not a month, it's a year of collaboration. So it's starting out with, it's a 7-day knockout offer challenge. So it's in the first 7 days, you learn how to turn your expertise into a sellable offer. Even if you've been planning it forever, or like have all of the ideas in like your journal or your drafts or your Google Drive, or wherever you put them on the wall. If you're like a person like me who has whiteboards on the wall, like take it, package it up. And I believe very firmly in making offers that just wow the socks off of people. So I call it a knockout offer challenge because this is like your intro to people. Like Gregory probably has an amazing lead magnet, and I teach people how to take your intro offers as small as they are if they're free and make them so like knock your socks off that they're like, what else do you have for me? So I will give you that for free. Just comment knockout on this, and I'll make sure that that's all set up so I can message you with the challenge. Super excited. And I am the extra entrepreneur on literally everything besides Facebook. But you'll find me on Facebook. You're watching this on Facebook, so you'll find me everywhere else. I mean, if you can't spell entrepreneur, maybe you're probably not my audience, so that's okay too.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kimberly. All right, Christina, where do they go next?
You can find me mostly on Facebook, facebook.com/Christina Canyon. And my username on Facebook is Christina Michelle. So the gift that I have is a mini burnout toolkit relief for you guys. So
awesome. That's good. That's good stuff. All right, Sean, where do they go next?
Yeah, just find me on Facebook. I just dropped into the chat. Just Sean Bradbury, and just DM me. The other thing I want to do is I have a community off of social media, so it's under the Go Collab app. So if you want to go into there, it's the Empowering Men's Collective. please feel free to check it out.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. All right, Nikki, where do they go next?
So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Soul Shifter. My TikTok has more card readings. And then you can find my offerings on thesoulshifter.com, or you can visit my website, thesoulshifterrevolution.com.
Awesome. All right, Coach Frank, where do they go next?
Old school, Google Coach Frank Sagasta, and you can find everything about me on Google. That's the way to reach me.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much, everybody. Such inspiring stories and such powerful nuggets. You guys are amazing. And thank you to our audience for being here. We'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It was
Thank
amazing,
you.
Kyle. Thank you.
Yeah, man.